Well, they have well, they have
Happening. There we go. Oh wow, what a weird the little intro movie there didn't play right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. It is it's Thursday for you, Friday for me. It is the coffee run or the House Edge Live rather here on Casino Gaming Central. Last day of the negative progression week. Next week we're going to jump into a specific negative progression called ladders. But yeah, so far so good. We've been through 2 weeks of just progression betting in general, and it's interesting if you look back at what we've talked about here on the show and just kind of people's thoughts in general on the topic. I've been watching a lot of blackjack videos recently, just because for some reason YouTube has decided that that's my new favorite thing. I'll tell you, YouTube changed its algorithm. Have you guys noticed it too, where the most random things now are showing up in my default feed? I've got to scroll past like 30 of those stupid vertical shorts to get to a real video anymore. It's like they're turning it into TikTok. But it's hard to find craps content and good gambling content. But I'm getting shoved a lot of blackjack, tons of card counting stuff, and there's all this kind of raging debate in the blackjack world, anyway, about bet sizing. And you're either on you're in one of two camps in blackjack. You're either a card counter and your bet size is based on count, and there's no progression. It's just you're going to go heavy hard when the count's good for you. Or there's guys that say screw all that, it's not worth it. Progression bet, and it's almost like they're at war with each other. It's kind of funny. And honestly, the thing with card counting is this, and I'll just put this out there, and maybe we'll do a series on this. I'm trying to get a hold of actually the guys from Blackjack Apprentice and A1 Blackjack to join me on the show. The interesting thing about it is to make money as a card counter, when you do get positive EV, which is the only game you can actually do that in, you need so much money to back that up. And it's not like a negative progression where it kind of gets worse and worse and worse. It's when your bet spread goes from 1 to 10 or 1 to 12 or 1 to 16 in some cases, right? On a good count, you could be at a level 16 bet for 4 or 5 hands in a row as the count stays good for you and still not win. Like the bankroll need for a card counter to bleed out $17 an hour is a lot. I actually want to have that conversation with somebody and see how is it really worth it to do that. Like, I don't know, the amount of bankroll, and again, I'm always so bankroll focused, right? And and that's why that's part of why I preach what I preach. You know what I'm saying? And like when we look at things like the casino's mission to take all your money and their ability to ban you from doing it, like if you get good, you're done, kind of a thing. That's card counting. Like the days of card counting are pretty much gone. Like I would predict within the next year, maybe 3. There won't be a hand shuffled game anywhere. They're just going to ban it. They're going to make it so you can't count cards. Like they used to beat your ass physically. Now they're going to beat you with a machine. They're going to put a machine out there that shuffles, and nobody will ever have the ability to count cards again. That's what's going to happen. And that's how they operate, right? You get an edge, they take it away. So I'm starting to like, why practice card counting? Why not? Because you can't get that spread. And that spread's meaningless in a small denom casino anyway. So to me, progression betting is where it's at. Finding ways to either win as a grind, chasing loss, or win as a quote unquote home run on a positive run for you, and find better ways to bet use your bet sizing in a more normal kind of way. Right? Does that make sense to you? So that's kind of that's why I'm leaning in so hard to this stuff, because I really feel like that's the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The way most conducive to winning. It can't be based on count in that game. Every other game is based on rhythm. You got to just find rhythm. You got to get lucky, be in a good rhythm, and hammer it out. And that's basically it, man. That's kind of like where my eyes are. And bankroll, I think, leads the way. We talk about the bankroll discussion here. Bankroll is important like really important. If you're going to play a negative progression, you need massive bankroll. You're going to play a card counting system of blackjack where you're going to hammer the positive counts. You got to have massive bankroll. Otherwise, you can't survive it. You can't play that way. So anyway, the bridge is all about using your brain. That's what I'm all about too. Like I said, I'm less focused on specific strategies other than the ways that I play these games. I've got like a handful, like 5 or 6 ways I play craps, like 5 or 6 ways I play roulette. That's it. Like, keep it simple. And that's why I'm more focused on money management and discipline these days. So anyway, that all said, let's hop into the topic of the day here. And the topic of the day, we're running through this notion of negative progressions, which is basically chasing your loss. And I don't mean to say that as a negative thing. People, gurus, whatever, say, never chase the win, never chase the loss. I use chasing loss because it's a good thumbnail for the videos. But we've been talking about ways to do negative progressions the last week. All these different, the 31, the Martingale Plus, the Labouche, all these ways that you can kind of Fibonacci, that you can level up your bets as you're losing, catch a win before the catastrophic 7th, 8th, or 9th loss, and reset, restart, walk away. Is that the only way to play? Right? We've talked about it. I gave you pros and cons on Tuesday. Yesterday, I rolled it out, and we actually had the perfect outcome. We won 9 times in a row, or we had 9 out of 10 wins, 90% win rate. I had a 90% win rate of winning 3 units. I had one where I lost 30 units. You do the math on that. Won 3, 9 times, lost 31 once. In 10 sessions, simulating Monday through Friday, 2 weeks in a row, ended up being down 4 units instead of being up. Had we not had the 31 go upside down, right, we'd have been up, 15, 30 units. Would have been a great 2 weeks for us. We would have been like champions. But the one loss will get you. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So today we're gonna dive in, and what I'm gonna ask for here is in chat, if you've got things to say it. Today is going to be this dig it or dog it day, right? We're going to talk. Do you dig negative progressions? Do you love playing that way? Is that the only way to play, or do you hate playing that way? And there's really no middle ground here, because you either will always play this way because you have the bankroll and you want that to be your hammer and your consistent win, or you hate playing this way because you cannot accept the massive defeats. And again, yesterday we saw that live and in person. I had a massive defeat yesterday, and I think I made the exact case that we have to make in this. So what I want to do here is just kind of get into your heads. And what is it? Chasing losses for the win or chasing losses for the loss, right? How do you view it? And I know that some people, I'm looking at you, Dr. S, in chat, love a ladder. Right? That's the only way to play. I know Waylon in chat will say that's the only real good way to play. I think Ken will say that's the only way to play. When he was a professional gambler, we'll talk to him next week about this. I'm going to try and get them both on. When Ken gambled professionally, and I'm talking about Ken from Ken Knows Gambling, go give him a like and a subscribe. When he gambled for a living, he played a martingale. He had to make rent, right? You cannot make rent with this. You can't go out there and say, well, let's go 160 across and hope today's my day. You cannot do it that way. He found a way to make a martingale work for him. Now, he was lucky, and he will be the first one to tell you about it. Okay? He was lucky. As you know, the martingale will lose. And I'm going to put Dr. S's quote up here. It says, you were lucky I didn't lose the Marty. The Marty did get to level whatever yesterday. We got pretty high in the martingale. Very lucky to not lose that one. Ken has said, when he was playing professionally, and again, not many of us can say we lived in Vegas only on gambling wins, right? Besides the fact that it was uber stressful for him. He only got to level 8 in blackjack a few times, a handful of times over the course of years. A couple of times he got there. Luckily, he won that bet and didn't have the big, ugly day, which can happen to you. Is that the only way to do it? If you're going to be a pro, is that the only way? He proved that he could do it. He hated every second of it, which is also a true statement. He hated every second of it. And I'm going to ask him again, why? Why did you hate it? Was it the stress of the martingale, or was it the stress of just living without a safety net? Right? There's no insurance, all that other stuff. That's a whole different conversation. But in talking about the actual using a Marty to survive, I think is a very interesting story, and I want to have that conversation about why is that the way to do it. And it still to this day drives him. As much as he hated it, he still plays that way, right? He still drives him with a ladder. The ladders drive him, not so much the Marty, but a ladder in general. So anyway, there it is. Waylon says, dog it. I don't play martingale. I don't have the money, right? Putting up all this money for one win will not work for me. I'm with you. I would not ever in my life play a martingale. I did see a very interesting video, by the way, and I think Waylon, who was it? Al Kaufman. I'll send it to you. I'll find this video. This video came out in, 1984, 1985, something like that. Back in the days when John Patrick was making videos, right? Al Kaufman put one out, and I remember seeing it way back then. I thought, God, that's his genius. It was the first time I'd ever really saw a martingale. And he did a do we don't martingale, right? Which I think, Waylon, you might want to try this sometime. And it's he does a really good job of talking through it, right? And what he did was basically a do we don't, and then back then, $5 and $5. And whatever side won, right, I think he would martingale the losing side and press up the winning side. Interesting system. So you have a do we don't, right? Pass line, don't pass line. Actually, let me show it to you. I'm going to go down to I have to, now I'm like totally on this thing. Let me show you what he did. It was kind of interesting. He did, let's get some chips out here. I think he did this. I think he did a pass line and a don't pass. I'll offset them a little bit, right? And get them out of the light over there. Okay. And what he did was you would collect the wins. So let's just play it for a minute. And this is an interesting martingale. And again, dig it or dog it here if you want. There's an 8. I'm just going to play it for a minute here. We'll just see what we think. There's an 8. That's the point. Again, we're not going to win or lose here. This is just to decide what's going to happen next. Okay, so the pass line loses. The don't pass wins. It's a tie. Okay, you reset your bets, right? But you martingale the one that lost. So you go up on the one that lost, which was the don't pass. Okay, let's play it out again. Another 8 for the point. There's an 8. So the 8 wins. So we lose the don't. And I'll put the losses up. We have three units in loss now. Put them over here. And again, you would go up to 4 now on the don't pass. You're marting the one that loses, collecting the one that wins. And by the way, that one that won, I didn't do that right. Sorry, my bad. We lost on the God, idiot. All right, so we lost. The first one was a tie. The second one, we had the 2 bets up. You would have lost 2 and won 1. So your net down 1 is how that worked. And then you're up to 4. Okay. Now, on the point of 6, midnight, 5, 10, midnight again, 9. Come on, give me an outcome here. 6, lose it again. Win down here 1, right? So your net loss there was 3, and now you're up to 8. And eventually this don't pass is going to win. That was the thought, right? It's a 11 yo. That's a pure loss. Minus the 1 for the win. Now you're up to 16. 8 and 8. Boy, this is going to be a great demonstration, isn't it? Al Kaufman's going to get his ass kicked right here live in public, right? We're going to go to 16. Jeez-a-loo. Bam. Look at this don't pass getting absolutely destroyed. Another 6. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God. We lose 32 and win 1. Holy hell. All right. So we are getting absolutely murdered here. So 32 goes to 64. Holy, this is why friends don't let friends martingale, right? I don't even have 64 green chips over here. Let's just do this. I'm going to go 50, 64. I'm just going to put it out like this, just to pretend we have the 64 units. Holy crap. There's an 8. Wow. 6. How about a 7? How about a freaking 7? What do you think? There it is, 7. Okay. So what would happen here is this. Check it out, right? Yeah. You're going to win 64 units here, right? Which covers up. Now that there's 64 here. What we have lost to this point, okay, is 5, 10, 15, 20, 31. We've lost 31. Now, one of those One of those is down here on the pass line, right? So we've lost 30, we've won 64, right? Pretty good win at that point. And then what you do is you take all your win back, right? You go back to a do we don't, and you parlay or you martingale the one that lost, which now is and you're switching sides. It's a baccarat style of play where you always go up on the one that lost. You martingale the one that lost, you collect the one that won, which is a very interesting way to approach this thing. Now, that was a horrible sequence right there, right? But in the end, you end up winning your martingale over here. This thing ends up winning its unit at the end. This thing ends up leveling through. So you're always collecting something along the way. Anyway, it was a video from the 80s by Al Kaufman. It was the first time I'd ever really seen the martingale kind of explained. Let's go back to here again. And I thought that's an interesting way to do it. And I never tried it, but because when I would be at home working on it at the kitchen table, I did this, right? You end up with like these massive bets. And I'm like, God, if I had, 128 nickels, I'd never get it done. Right. So anyway, I want Waylon to watch it, but it's actually pretty cool. It's still a martingale. You can't afford it. You're right. But it's an interesting video because it's clearly from the mid 80s. He's got the leisure suit. He's got the lady there with way too much makeup on, and he's making her bet and treating her like she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. It's a typical 80s like style casino video. Anyway, you ought to watch it just because it's fun. So, all right, back to the show. What do we think here? I'm looking for more comments from y'all in the peanut gallery about negative progressions. Now, Skill says this, which is interesting. Let me think. I'm going to go back here. Skill had emailed me a while back, and he said, "Oh my God, what's the recovery plan? What happens when you lose 8 times in a row?" And I thought he was like, just challenging me. What happens when you lose 8 times in a row? Well, he actually lost, just like I did, 8 straight don't pass beats. Got burned hard, right? And he says this: I got burned, but I still have an open mind. I'll not say that I'm playing that exclusively. Okay. Again, I think it's a tool. These are great tools. And if you find yourself what you feel like is in a choppy situation, as you'll find out next week, the ladders can work in a chop. The martingale, the baccarat martingale can work in a chop. It does not work when one side's getting all the love, right? That Marty, when one side is on a big winning streak, it does. That's the kryptonite for it. So, all right. The don't pass negative progression seems plausible. How many achieve the fire bet? Now, this is another thing, right? How do I say this right? This is why the fire bet to me is the perfect way to describe probability. Let's talk about it. The fire bet's interesting. And we can maybe go to the table and talk about this. Let's do it, actually. Let's go back down here at the table. And again, I got stuff in the way, but the fire bet is this progressive payment thing, right? So basically, if you win on the pass line, right? If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers on the pass line, right? Six pass line winners. Okay. That's going to pay you anywhere between, and again, pass line, not outcome, not come out winners, but point winners, 6-point winners. This 6th one, first 3 don't count in most cases. Sometimes the 3rd point will pay you like 2 to 1, right? Sometimes the 4th point will pay you like 10 to 1, then 25 to 1, and then like either 300 or 1,000 to 1 for the 6th one. It's impossible. It's almost impossible to get this, right? To get a fire bet to hit. That's why the limit on it is $5, and it's 1,000. It's 1,000 to 1 or $9.99 to 1, right? So $5 pays you $5,000, or $5 pays you $1,500, depending if it's the $300 table or not. Why? And we talk about probability. This is a great probability talk. My God, I should have done this so long ago. It's so hard to make 6 points in a row. The probability ahead of the sequence. I will bet you $1,000, says the casino, for 5, or 1,000 to 1. I'll pay you 1,000 to 1 if you can catch me 6 bets in a row. Right? This is because it compounds how hard it is ahead of time. It's the same thing as saying, I'll pay you 100 to 1 if you can throw 6 sevens in a row. Okay, 6 sevens in a row is 16% times 16% times, right? It's to the 6th power. The probability of doing that is almost impossible. If you bet it ahead of time, I will bet you $1 that I can roll 6 sevens in a row. Casino says I'll give you $500 if you can do it. Cool, that's a great bet. Now, in the rearview mirror, you roll 5 sevens in a row, okay, which is already hard to do. What is the probability that you'll roll another one? Is it 1,000 to 1? Is it the 500 to 1? Or is it 6 to 1? This doesn't change, right? On a per bet basis, it doesn't change. In the fire bet situation, if the player has hit 5 points to the fire bet, and you walk up to the table as a brand new player and go, hey, I'm going to bet the pass line, right? Your chances of that guy getting the 8 and winning it are the exact same as they were before. It doesn't change for you, the new player. For this guy who bet it ahead of time, it's 1,000 to 1 shot. For you, it's just give me the 8 and let's roll the damn thing out. The point's 8, and you roll up there and you put a put bet with $1 million in odds behind it. Your chance of winning that 8 doesn't change. The guy who bet it ahead of time is the one that has the probabilistic long shot. Long shots are interesting, and I think that's the thing that people don't understand. Anyway, I know I'm going off on a tangent there, but that's an important distinction to make. And I'm glad you brought that up, Tom, because the fire bet is an interesting thing, and it's kind of the point, right? Betting something impossible before it happens is different than betting on the last piece of it as it's happening. And the mathematics behind that will blow people's brains. So anyway, there's that. What else we have here in chat? Let me just go through. Your show should supply markers. That's funny. Let's see. You never know what's going to happen, so I don't like having to have blind faith with no loss limit. Yeah, I hear you there. That's why I like the 31, or some people will say that's very similar to the Stern method. Even a martingale has a scoped end. If you're going to go 7 legs or 8 legs in a marty, you know what it is. You stop your loss at a certain spot. The regular ladders typically don't have a stop loss. They're typically going to be to a certain point, right? You can't really not play them to fruition. So, you play the do we don't ladder. Whole different grinding strategy. That's cool. Let's see. JR, I'm evoking shooter eligibility rules, interleaving with a half press schedule. All right. So you know how I feel about qualifying shooters, right? I don't believe that qualifying shooters is a thing. Personal opinion. I don't believe that shooters can become eligible to be bet on, but I know that was a Grafstein thing. So, all right. Opposing ladders are awesome. This is going back to the do we don't thing, right? You can do 3 of them on roulette: high, low, red, black, odd, even, 100%. And I don't even think that they're opposing, right? Those are like the don't pass and the pass are an opposition, right? On roulette, when you're doing high, low, you can do high, low, red, black at the same time. You can have opposing ladders on those at the same time and be kind of crushing it on all levels. It's very interesting. And I've explored that some. Again, you need bankroll, baby. Yeah. Badger says martingale the first loss and grind after that. Parlay in the grind. You know me. I have done this before too with some of Wayland stuff. When I run some ladder things, I've explored this idea, and we'll do it next week. Ladder, up, and come down a ladder, how Wayland typically does it. I've done ladder, up, parlay, and then you're done, right? Taking my cues from the 31 style of play, parlay a win during the ladder. If it doesn't work, you just go right back out where you were, and you can start over again. So you can go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, win at 4, parlay it to 8. If it doesn't work, back out at 5. It's like you gave that 4 2 chances to win, an extra couple of units. If you hit the parlay, you're done. You're all the way back. You don't have to work down the ladder. Very interesting way to play the ladders. And again, I'll get Waylon and Ken's thoughts on it next week. So 4D Craps is now saying works short term, but unreliable, doesn't hold up over the long run. I think you might get some opposition from Waylon and from Ken on that. Guys that I know play this style of play religiously. Yeah. to them, every run's a short run. And I think we again, you're going to be on the show at some point too. We'll have this talk. I think it's good. It's a good debate topic for sure. Again, if you have the bankroll to do it, a ladder can certainly work. And Waylon says it's worked over the 38 years, won 20 times more than I lost. I think it's timing too, Waylon, right? Remember what I said to you guys about the retirement plan? You know, Ken lost on the 98th try. He was 97-0, and then he lost, right? If you were if that bad day happened the first day, whole different conversation. Now you're grinding back to even versus working from ahead. Again, all these things are timing and luck. I think that the laddering systems, these negative progressions, are not the only way to win, but they are the only way, I think, to grind successfully. If you're going to be a grinder, I think you want to do a little bit of negative progressions and find the one that works for you and grind it out, and take your lumps when they come. So, all right, what else we have in here? Yes, and here's why you're coming on next week, because not everybody knows how to play a ladder, and I think that's truer words were never spoken. It's easy for me to sit here at my table and go, hey, here's how you play a ladder. You lose 1, you go to 2, and you lose 2, and you go to 3, and you win 3, and look at that, you're a hero because your losses cover your wins and you're back, right? And now you're down to 2, and you have a unit, right? It's easy for me to do the math with you here in front of you with chips in a pile. Anybody can do this, right? How you play this here, and again, this is a storage right now. How you play it at the table with your chips in the rack is different than me showing you with a pile of chips how you play a ladder. Because I can show you all day long how a ladder works. Lose 2, lose 3, right? Bet 4, right? And when you win the 4, we'll take the 4 out of our losses. Win the 4, right? Now you're down to a 2-unit loss. Come down to 3. Now you're down to a 1-unit loss. When you win 3, actually one of those comes out of your loss pile. Now you're down to 2 and you're up a unit, right? From where you started from. I can show you that all day long. And you go, oh, that's genius. It makes sense. But how you manage your rack is where the magic is. How you manage your rack in a ladder system is where the magic is. And Waylon's put in 30-something years of playing this way and has a way to manage his money in his rack to know where he's at, when to stop, when to reset, when to regroup, that people who watch Waylon don't know. And I'm going to say that again, because I have many stories. Let me go back to the other screen. I have many stories of people emailing me. I have stories of people going into Casino Quest and talking to David about it and saying, hey, I watched a Waylon video and I went to the casino and I lost my ass. That guy's full of shit. I've heard that a number of times. And what I always say is you're not doing it right. You can't just watch a video and go, that looks awesome. I'm going to go play that right now. Go to the ATM, pull out $5K, run to the casino, and try a ladder. And go, well, fuck, that didn't work. I just lost my mortgage payment. You cannot do that, right? Ladders are a system for sure. And again, we'll talk a lot about it next week. Ladders are a system for sure. But the way that you play it is not just up and down. It's not just that simple. There's more to it, and there's nuance to it. There's really understanding the rhythm, your rack, your position in the game, right? Out of sight, out of mind definitely helps. Bankroll management is essential. Discipline's essential when you're playing a ladder. So I want to show you next week. And I think a regular D'Alembert or D'Alembert ladder, like Waylon preaches, is the best of all the negative progressions besides the 31. It's the best one of all of them. And because there's these decision points and money management built into it, but you got to do it. You cannot just watch a video and go, oh, that was it. I'm going to the casino. You cannot do that. You have to, again, 30 plus years of experience doing it. Waylon manages his money different at the table than what he shows in his videos. Because in the video, he can only say so much in 15 minutes. Watch him actually do it. Watch all 3,000 of his videos back to back to back. And you'll start getting what he's saying. The genius behind the way he plays it, not that he plays it. And that's just such an important thing. You cannot just go out there without really understanding what you're doing. And I think these negative progressions, if I go all the way back to the bridge slide, negative progressions cannot be played unless you have all the tools. You understand the risk that's involved with it and you're okay with it. Your bankroll can support that risk and maybe support it a number of times. You have to be able to identify when you're done, right? You cannot play a ladder without the eye. You have to be able to identify when it's time. I'm done. I did it. The ladder worked. Decision point, done. Discipline says when that decision point happens, I'm out, right? You better damn well have a goal. And when the goal is hit, you got to stop playing. If you don't have these things, then the ladder systems, any of them will not work without your brain being engaged properly. It's the most important thing of this whole week. This is the takeaway. I give you this slide every day, but it really ties in when you're talking about playing any kind of an upside down system, any kind of a negative progression. These are the most, I think, critical pieces of the whole thing. And that's why I say for the win or for the loss depends on you and your ability to execute it and understand what the hell you're doing. And I feel bad for people who just willy-nilly watch videos and go out and play stuff. You just can't do it. You can't do it, right? I love the way that Waylon describes things. And the first time I watched him play, I'm like, that's pretty cool. I would roll it on my table and I'd lose every time. Like, why am I'm trying to do videos on it. I'm like, every time I do this thing, I'm getting my ass kicked. Why? Well, Waylon will email me and go, brother, you're not doing it right. You gotta really think through where you are. And there's a little bit more to it. Okay. All right. 4D Craps says when you use a progression system, most sessions end with small wins. Very true. You might win a little, reset, repeat, all that. It creates the impression that it's working consistently. And it does. It works consistently. However, all the little tiny wins and one massive loss add up to ugly. Yesterday, good example. I won 9 times a little bit. I won 3 units 9 times. I lost 30 units once. That's your point. That's the danger of laddering or the danger of negative progressions. You're going to find that day where it just doesn't work. It is what it is. All right. Dynamite Shooters, maybe I misheard you, but I thought you said the Al Kaufman included a positive on the do. I have to watch. It's been, I haven't seen that video in probably 15 years. I got to go watch it again. I think he does. I may have done it wrong. I think he does a straight up martingale on the loser. I think he does the same bet on the winner, or he parlays the win. I forget if he parlays the win and pulls the win, and it's always a negative on. I have to look at it again. It's something like that. I got to go. I'll watch it again, and I'll put it back in it. I'll put it in the description for this video today to go watch it. It's on YouTube. Just search for Al Kaufman martingale. You'll find it. It's him at a craps table with some lady in a red dress, I think, and they're. It's an interesting video, and Al Kaufman always is like he's a martingale guy. His videos are so shticky, shticky, SCHTICKY, shticky from the 80s. Very for sure. All right, you like the ladder parlay. The ladder parlay is cool. It does work. And again, if you lose the parlay attempt, you were going to go up anyway, right? Instead of being down a rung on the ladder, you're just at the same rung effectively. So, all right, let's see. I think we've got everything. But all the cocktails make up for it. There you go. That's funny. The bankroll, reset, and be satisfied is a fail-safe. It's so true. You've got to reset your bankroll. And it's hard. Like resetting bankroll. And here's the thing. I should show you this when I get my tables put back together again. I'll show you this at Blackjack. And I'll show it to you on Baccarat. Managing your rack is different on those games, right? You don't have, like, I'll bring it out again. Oh, you can't see it. You don't have one of these, right? You don't have a rack when you're playing blackjack or when you're playing roulette or Baccarat. On craps, you have this. You have, Johnny's Awesome Lammers that you can use, right, to separate your chips and know where you are. Bankroll management at the craps table is actually easier, even though there's more money flying around, because you can separate your chips and you can see where you're at and all that kind of stuff. On the regular games, you're at a spot on a table and you got a stack of money in front of you, right? It's harder to know where you are without a system to manage this, right? And if you work like most people probably do in groups of 20, in 2 stacks of 20, you said, look, I bought in, I have 2 stacks of 20, right? At the minute, and here's how I do things, right? The minute, I'm going to get some more greens. The minute that I earn half a stack, right? So I have 20, I have 20, I have 150, 25 goes in the pocket, 25 is what I'm playing with. This gets protected. And if I burn the 20, the extra little bit, I'll dip into here for some more. You have to manage your money. And again, in a Marty or in a ladder, it's harder. It's harder to set your chips up in ways that make sense. You can do groups of 4. There's my next 4 rungs of the ladder, because those will slide in front of you, and you can do that without having a problem, and your main bet's kind of behind you. That'll work. But you've got to work on ways to manage your money at a regular game that's not craps. So you can keep track of where you are in your progressions on this scale here, and have your next group ready to rock and roll. And again, that reset and evaluate, that decision point that I keep talking about, it's critical. Knowing where your decision point is, I think is, oh, hold on, I gotta get to the screen here, is an important thing, right? Once you have a way to find with your chip stack or your rack, even and up, take the reset and go. Or, as some people will tell you, I think Dr. S is one of these guys, or you take that win and you leverage up the base, right? I've got my money back. I've got a full stack of 20 extra. The 20 is my new play stack, and then my play stack starts with a double-sized base. Those kind of things are the way that you manage your money here. If you don't know what you've got in front of you, you're going to burn. It's so important to know where the hell you are. I think most people lose money, right? Because they don't know where they are, right? They're playing what they saw on TV, or they're playing what they read in a book, but they don't really manage it. Managing it is the key. So, all right. And I will still do an RUP with negative progression. I think that's actually interesting and cool. Lots of things we can work on. Tony Leo, Al Kaufman's a loser and a scam. He doesn't play. Yeah, I've actually never seen him in person. I'm just reacting to the video that I saw when I was younger. Like, that was a thing. And again, when you watch his videos, does he do a thing where you pay him to go play with him or something? I don't even know. I just remember the video was a striking, like, that's an interesting way to play. That's all I know of Al Kaufman. I never bought his books or anything. I just thought that was pretty cool. If he takes this is kind of how, what's that guy's name? The bald guy, the roulette guy. What is his name? He does the same thing. He charges like $5,000. Actually, I think our friend Jimmy does this too. Charge you $5,000 to go play with him, and you play his way and it doesn't go your way, and that's it. Horseshit. I hate God, scammers. Don't even get me started. We should do a series. What I should do, we'll close on this point. Maybe what I'll do after we finish the negative progressions is I'll do a scammer week. I'll do a whole week where we just talk about scammers. We'll just do, like, we can put, if Tony, you want to come on, we'll talk about Al Kaufman. We can talk about, gotta forget the guy's name now. It'll come to me. The guy, the roulette guy. We'll talk about Jimmy. We'll just lay them all out. We'll do a scammer expose week. That's what we'll do. Even though some people think I'm a scammer. I've never charged a dime. I do this for free every day. But I'm a scammer too, I guess, right? But no, we'll do a scammer expose week. How fun would that be? All right, guys, I'm out. I'm gonna have to run to my work meeting. I will leave you with this last little note here. There's our questions and answers sign. Remember what Lou says, stay in focus. Another good acronym. We start with the bridge, we end with focus, right? Follow your plan, have a plan, follow it, observe the conditions, right? Control your emotions, right? Emotional betting is loser betting for sure. Understand the odds of what you're playing and stay disciplined. All those things, right? Stay focused, rely on the bridge. You're going to be okay. And above all, keep it simple, stupid. The idiots admire complexity. The geniuses admire simplicity. Keep it simple. All these billionaires, all the people who they're doing simple things. They aren't making it complex. Keep it simple. Repeatable, simple, executable, emotionless. That's how you get it done, guys. All right. With that said, I'm out. I'll see you next week. Probably a short week next week, maybe 2 shows. I'm driving to Vegas actually on Tuesday, I think. So, or maybe Wednesday. I'll probably have a show for you Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm out. So anyway, love you guys. See you all later. God bless. Bye.